Alright, so we have an interesting matchup here. So it's Brad Tavares versus Omari Akhmedov. So we'll break down the striking first. So Brad Tavares, his stand-up game is quite stripped down. I think, he's a vet. He knows what he's good at. And I think he only utilizes a few weapons because of that. Because he is very effective with them, and he's kind of done that 80-20 thing where he knows where he's most effective, and he just kind of, stripped his game down and only uses a few of those main weapons that he finds the most success with. And I think that's the snapping jab to keep distance, and the low calf kick, and also the counter too. And that's the main weapons, that's what he's going to be looking for mostly. For Omari Akhmedov, he's mostly a counter striker, has very good timing on his counters, loads up on all of his strikes. He does have a bit of power. I'm not going to say concussive power, but I'm just going to say force with his strikes. He does give a few tells. If you feint quite a bit, you're gonna be seeing the reaction of Omari as he lowers his level basically every time when he is trying to look for his counters. So you can feint a bit, draw the level changes out of him, and then you can look for your offense there. He basically dips his head every time he commits to a strike or a combination. So you can feint that out of him, and then you can make him kind of look silly at distance when you do that. But more importantly, you can get your guard up in time, or you can, use your footwork to get out of the way of, one of his big haymakers, because he kind of lets you know when he's about to throw one. But what Akhmedov usually looks to do is he looks to back up to get his opponents to follow him, then burst forward with a 2 or a 3 punch combination, just kind of, blitz in, and then, take the back foot again and rinse and repeat. Tavares does back up in a straight line, so that kind of makes him a little bit tailor-made for the blitzes of Omari. Also, for Tavares, his rear hand drops after he slips a punch, or, when he throws a counter 2, which is what I think he's going to be looking for when Omari does blitz in. So he's just got to watch out for that, because Omari, he does follow up with a nice left hook in close. He likes the left hook after he throws a right overhand. So, if Tavares in orthodox, he's got to be careful of keeping that rear hand up, or Tavares, Akhmedov is going to clock him with a left hook. One thing Akhmedov does that does get him in trouble is that he will lean back to his right-hand side to evade jabs or the 1-2. So if you pop out the jab, if you're Tavares and you're popping out the jab, look to follow it up with a 2 as well, because once he starts leaning back to his right, then you can follow him down with the 2 and, really connect on him, because he's kind of trapped when he does lean back, because he's gonna be off balance, so he has to rebalance himself by, redistributing his weight and also posturing up from leaning back. So that's when you can catch him, when he's leaning back with the 2. Omari will mix in the wrestling. He likes to feint an overhand right to set up his takedown entries, and then he'll go for a blast double. He likes to run the pipe on a single leg. If he does get into opposition, he will rip heavy ground and pound with his right hand, but he does leave a lot of openings for you to get back to your feet if you want to take him. And how these guys win fights, so for Tavares, he's actually got a really good anti-wrestling game, or anti-grappling game in general. Very good takedown defense and good get-ups as well. And for Omari, he's got a granite chin and good takedown defense, but, not really something that Brad's going to attack anyway. How these guys lose fights, so for Tavares, he's had his bell rung a few times. And, he has been caught a few times, but other than that, he's only really lost to the elite of the elite. We'll have a look at his record now. But, lost to Adesanya, no shame in that. Obviously, Shabazian, but, Shabazian had a bit of hype behind him, and he's very dangerous in round 1, Shabazian. If that fight dragged on, I believe Tavares probably would have handled him later on in the fight. But, yeah, obviously, Shabazian, very dangerous in round 1, and, I think he just got caught there, honestly. But Tavares, obviously, was getting sniped, really. Robert Whittaker, no shame in losing to Robert Whittaker. I think he was winning the Boach fight until he got caught. And then, the loss to Yoel Romero. So yeah, that's a decent record. He's you've got to be fighting the elite guys when you're ranked as highly as he was. And you're just going to lose. You're just going to lose to some of them. Some of them are just on another level. And Whittaker, Romero, what's his name? Bloody hell. Adesanya. They're obviously 3 elite guys. And for Omari Akhmedov, how he loses is that he's got subpar cardio, and I think the process is accelerated in grappling heavy fights, but just in general, his style isn't very cardio efficient. Like, he loads up on everything. Everything is with explosion. It's just not a very it's just not a very sustainable style that he comes in with, cardio wise. So I'm gonna give the cardio advantage to Tavares. Path to victory for these two. So for Tavares, look to keep him behind the two octagon lines, try and control the center of the octagon. Utilize a lot of feints, which is what I was talking about before. Keep the fight at a high pace, but don't engage in a brawl, because he does have decent power and he has a granite chin. So, don't engage in a brawl. That's not where the smartest fight is to be fought. Watch out for the counters after you do throw the jab. When you pop the jab, he's going to be looking for counters basically always, so just always watch out for that. Also, low calf kicks. I know you like throwing the low calf kicks. He's got that low stance, and he's always ready to load up on his strikes, so I think you can really catch him with the low calf kick here. But also look to roll under his winging punches, so when he goes for an overhand right, just naked at distance or whatever, and you see it coming from a mile away, look to roll under it, smash the body with a two-punch combination there, maybe try and accelerate that gassing process of Omari Akhmedov. Also, uppercuts when he dips. Uppercuts are just on all day on Omari. He is constantly dipping, and he's constantly changing his levels. For Omari Akhmedov, look to counter the jab with combinations. Look for hooks in the pocket, and look to end a combination with a 3, what we discussed before in the striking tendencies section. Also, leg kicks. Omari has some hard leg kicks, but he never really commits to them as a game plan. But Tavares, he's going to be trying to pop that jab out constantly, so I think you can, really look to beat up that lead leg if you want. He does have really heavy low calf kicks, he just doesn't throw them enough. Also, mix in takedowns, try and press him against the cage if you can't get him down. But yeah, just look to mix it in. How I see it going, on the feet, Tavares, he has good strike and defense at range. And the way that Omari loads up on his strikes, like, you can just see him coming from a mile away. So I think Brad's going to, slip or just catch a lot of these shots on the shoulder or the arm while landing his straight punches at distance. So, the jabs, the straights. I think he's going to have a lot more success on the feet. Also, the leg kicks will be landing on that low stance of Omari. I think he's going to have to acknowledge that at some point in the fight. But I also believe, Brad will just be having the greater output too. I think Omari is going to expend a lot of energy in round 1 trying to take Tavares down to probably no avail. Might get him down once or twice, but he won't be able to hold Tavares down. As I said before, he's got great anti-grappling. And I think after about a round and a half, Tavares' superior cardio is going to really allow him to take over in the fight. The only way I really see Omari winning is kind of a sketchy split decision where it's very competitive, but he's going to be landing the more eye-catching shots. But I think Tavares has the potential to look very dominant when Omari does gas. So I think, Tavares wins at a good high clip. I've been trying to fade Omari, not purposely, but, purposely. But I've been trying to fade the guy for a while. He's, in my opinion, he's very easy to game plan for and very easy to beat. But people seem to have a lot of trouble with him. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll go into having a look at the betting lines. Alright, so if you guys could like the video, that would be awesome. And the prediction is Brad Tavares by decision. I think he wins by decision, yeah. A few bets I was looking at. Tavares at $1.65, which seems like he's at the moment, which is minus 155 for, the money line. So I'll probably have a stab at him at this price. Kind of looks like he's going to go up a little bit more as well, so I might wait it out. Also, fight goes the distance at $1.60 or minus 170. Like Omari, his last 7 of 8 have gone the distance, and Tavares, his last, out of his last 13 wins, 11 are by decision. So I'm expecting this one to absolutely go the distance. Brad Tavares by decision. I was kind of hoping for $3. If it was $3, I'd hit that, but yeah, I just don't really, because Omari, is pretty live to just gas, but probably not going to get pushed by Brad. But, I'm expecting Brad Tavares by decision as the prediction. But yeah, I'm looking at the money line at the moment.